and welcome to the Saturday Phoenix Premier League. I'm Jason Ives. I am joined by my old-time friend, quite frankly, my dart mentor, my dart advisor, Mr. Dustin McClure. How are you, sir?
Great.
Thank you for taking the time this Saturday.
Thanks for having us here on this holiday weekend.
And, yeah, folks, big shout-out, big happy holidays to everybody. Obviously, it's a Memorial Day weekend. I understand the difference, but we always want to tip the hat to all the veterans out there, and thank you for what you've done for our country. Well, Dustin, the owner, if you don't know this, and you've been living under a rock, but Dustin is the owner of Phoenix Amusement. I got to write that down.
Well done.
Yeah, the other way, you own several companies, so I would have gone the other way myself.
Okay.
But that's all right. The owner of Phoenix Amusement. So, Dustin, season 2 of the Premier League, how's it been so far?
Going great. You know, we're got a lot of enthusiasm. We've got 2 men's Challenger leagues happening right now.
Okay.
Vying to get back into the contender division.
Right. So it's the Challenger leagues, the contender leagues, and then the Premier League.
Yep,
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yep. So we've got challengers out there working their way in. And the other exciting thing is we've got a second round of women's Challenger happening.
Oh, really? Oh,
so,
that's fantastic.
Yep. We're looking forward to hopefully season 3 for Premier may be ready to also introduce the women. So
that is fantastic.
Hopefully we can get that to work out.
And you've got, so that would be 20 ladies that you've got planned, or no, 16 ladies that you got planned to start this Premier League.
Yeah, I think for sure we'll have the Premier Division. We may or may not run a contender at the same time for them, and may just have Premier and Challenger. But we'll just see where that happens.
The interest, so from a streaming standpoint, we have the accessibility to quite a few demographics.
Mm-hmm.
The people that watch our stream, they're about 37% female, and about, obviously 63% male at that point in time. The amount of interest that you've had for the ladies in the Premier League itself, is it relatively the same? I mean, how is it compared to the men's interest and what you had there?
I would say it's probably similar to what you just said. I think that's probably similar across all of darts. It's about 60-40 split.
Okay, so. Excellent. So, Phoenix Amusement, not just the Premier League. You're such a bigger company than that. What else you got going on right now?
Well, it's exciting right now. We're getting ready to start the Phoenix Official League, which is the coincidental same name as my company, but Phoenix Darts, an international dart company. They run their national tournament in September in Vegas, and we're getting ready to start leagues for that this summer. I think starting this week, actually. Starting next week.
Excellent.
So that's a big one coming up, and then we can talk more about it later, but our Customer Appreciation Tournament coming up in June.
All right.
We're excited. We started that last year, and our second one will be this year.
I do not know of any other vendor that does something like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, everybody runs their city tournaments or other singular events that you play to get into. This one is just me strictly wanting to say thank you for everybody that plays with us.
Okay.
If you played in a league within the last year, you're eligible to come to the event. It's 2 days. It's a free entry, free tournament. Boards are on free play. Everything is free for the players. And we put up a bunch of money, $2,000 to $3,000 for the weekend across a couple of interesting events. My original thought was making everything from a draw perspective so that you don't have to do a lot of work of finding partners, and we want to cap things and do all this. So last year we did a bunch of draws, parity draws, and Adam and Eve, and some trios draws and things like that. So Ben and I haven't really worked out the format yet this year, but essentially the bottom line is us saying thank you to everybody and come out, play for free.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Free entry.
Free entry.
And free play.
Free play.
And you win money.
Why not?
Yeah. All right, so you're paying us for our time.
Exactly.
What a wonderful concept. I like that a lot. Well, folks, you heard it. Phoenix Amusements, get in touch with Ben Fairs, get in touch with Dustin McClure, or quite frankly, you can reach out to myself and I'll steer you in that direction. But the Premier League, Customer Appreciation Leagues, they also have a city tournament usually in November.
Beginning of December.
Beginning of December.
Yep.
So, yeah. Great vending company, but we're blessed with several great vending companies here in Indianapolis. But he's the guy. All right, Dustin. So let's talk about today's matchup. Now, this is interesting. You've got 2 guys that essentially are new to the Premier League. So they were in the Challenger League last season.
Contender, sorry.
Yep. And they got moved up to the Premier League.
Yep.
But let's see where they're standing. Let's take a look at the tables here. So today we've got Nate Brosius and Jeff Pace, and you can see them there in your top left-hand side. That is the Premier League, and they are at the bottom. Now, they got today's matches to make up. And when they do that, they'll be back up in the pack with Ben Jolin and Adam right there. But 3 of those names are going to be moving down to the Challenger League after the season's over with. And, folks, we're already more than halfway through the season. All right, so this is week 4 that we're looking at now. Adam's running away with it, much like he did last season. But he lost in the playoffs to Mac last time. We're going to see how he does this time. But Mac, Lee, and, you could even make a good argument that Ben's up there, too, knocking on the door, trying to get these guys and see if they can challenge Adam in the final. But Adam finished first last year but lost in the playoffs, right?
Correct.
And our first champion is Mr. Mac Feely, who's currently running second. If you take a look down there at the bottom, Ron Thompson, big shout-out to Ron and Robin today who are renewing their vows. Congratulations, guys. Great to see you guys up there. But Ron's playing some fantastic darts here lately, shooting really well. He's the top of that one, followed by To The Point Streaming's owner, Mr. Tim Neal, and then To The Point Streaming sponsored player who's supposed to be better than everybody because that's who we sponsor. He's way down there in third.
Yeah, Trevor is... Well, we'll keep in mind that extra match he needs to play there. I think when that plays out, it's going to be a real fight here at the top 3, it looks like so far.
That one's going to be fun. But 3 of those guys will be moving up. Tiny's going to have a little bit to say about that, too. He's shooting really well right now also. So that's what the leagues look like right now. But today's matchup, Nate and Jeff, now this is what's fun about this. They're in a point where they have to really step back up. And because if one of them loses big today, they're almost bound to be out of the Challenger League already and back down, starting down in the contender leagues again.
Right.
And you get in those contender leagues, and they can be tough because only one people is going to end up going up if they get demoted out of the Challenger League again. So it's going to be tough. These guys really have to make a statement today to be able to stay up in the Premier League, not get demoted down in the Challenger League. You don't want to be bouncing back and forth every season. So this one's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I know they're both hungry. They're both really glad to be a part of this. And so they're going to be fighting it out.
Oh, it's fun to watch. Now, let's get your predictions.
Tough one. They're both really close, I think, in skill. Like I said, they're both hungry. They both have a lot of experience. Been playing well. Both have a lot of tournament experience. Both have been here quite a bit. So, I don't really think that anything's going to get to these guys. I'm going with an 8-7 close match.
Yep.
And it's so close that I had to flip a coin. The coin said Nate.
All right.
So we're going with Nate for today by 1 in a close one.
Well, I'm a little different than you, not on purpose, but I believe in Jeff Pace. He's, Jeff is somebody, he's a really, really good player and a great dude. He's just somebody that I've always thought should be better than what he is at times. And as far as the quality of his darts, and I only say that because he's beaten me, and he's beaten several others, and I've seen him shoot some amazing darts to the quality of a Lee Jones, to the quality of a Ben Frères, Mac Feely. He can shoot at that level. It's just not as consistent as what it is with those guys. And I believe Jeff's, it's early in the day. I think today's going to be his day. I think he's going to really show us what he's got. I love that guy to death, and I really hope he does something special. Nate, everybody loves Nate, right? I mean, you can't argue with Nate. Nate also has moments of brilliance like anything else, but we've seen him play to his opponent's level very often.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so let's see what happens today. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. Okay, folks, here's what we're going to do. We have a 43-second spot that we have to run. It's an advertisement for this league. Dustin says we just can't do the show unless we run the promo video, so I don't know what to tell you. Message him about it. But we're going to run that. I'm going to turn the green light on the arena. And when we come back, we're going to be live in the arena, and we're going to see what these guys can do. So stay right with us. Please give us a like, give us a share. Big shout-out to Phoenix Amusement for everything you guys do for darts here in Indy, and quite frankly, darts across the state anymore. We'll be right back. folks. I didn't lie. We're right back with it. And this is dart number 1, thrown by Jeff Pace. It is double in, double out. Jeff gets in on a second dart with tops.
Yep, strong start there. Always important to get in that first round.
Yeah, Nate always prefers his first dart at the double. Always seems to go somewhere on the left side of the board, much like myself. Gets in on the second dart also. You'll notice the pace of these two guys know each other pretty well. They both shoot out of sidelines, predominantly. So you'll see these guys start. They'll play at a pretty fast click. They go back and forth. But regardless, and it doesn't matter how many times you've been here, you're still in the arena, you're still by yourselves, and there's still cameras and spotlights shining on you. So it does take a first leg or two just to get settled in. That's not a bad rounder there. Big ton 40 there from Jeff Pace. Nice darts. See Nate with the courtesy nod, the tip of the hat. Nice job. Big ton 40. I think Nate's maybe shooting a little bit too fast on his second and third dart.
Yeah, he does seem a little bit rushed.
Look at that. There's a big ton 80.
Big opener.
Mr. Jeff Pace, and I was just about to criticize his follow-through, so I'm glad I kept my mouth shut.
Everybody's follow-through is wrong, right?
That's right. Well, Nate's got a beautiful. You see how there he pulled it back too quick, but he follows through right there and keeps that. A big answer right there. Back-to-back ton 80s. That's what you want to see on a Saturday afternoon.
Where's all our sound effects this week? No, Ben's not here to criticize you, so
no, I took them off, and Well, if you notice, right after we did the sound effects, Tim lost his Facebook profile, so I decided that maybe we shouldn't do that no more. All right. Jeff sets himself up for the tops, a double 20 finish, but let's see what Nate can do. Can he put a little bit of pressure on it? Well, not as much as he wanted. Just a 59 scored there. Needs to hit a trip. Let's see what Jeff can do. He's going tops. Uh-oh. And he went just inside on the 10, which is going to leave him on a difficult double 5 out. Nate gets a little bit of a reprieve here. 142, certainly possible for a man of his talents. Not anymore, though. And goes down for that trip 17. And it is a double out, not a master out. Let me just remind you. Jeff's looking up at the double 5. Then he hits a first dart. Big dart. That'll be a 1-0 lead for Mr. Jeff Pace. Which means I've got to go over here and change the score. That'd be something I didn't calculate into my little... Let's see what we do here. Bear with us, folks. I'll get the score updated just momentarily for you.
Nate coming in strong here on the second game. Get this one back.
There you go. That's as good as you can get. A big 148 start for Nate. And these guys going back and forth. Dustin, what are you seeing in Jeff's follow-through there?
Lack thereof. Yeah, I don't know. He's been playing darts for a long time. It's not something that is going to change. It's some of us that have played long enough. You start to realize that your body's different from everybody else, and you do what's best for you. You like to start inside of that perfect box, but sometimes if your body just doesn't let you do it, you can't do it.
Well, it's something, and far be it from me to offer any suggestions to Jeff, but something I've actually talked to Jeff about before is where his hand finishes after he's released the dart. It tends to go a little bit inside of his body, and that just gives him a little bit inconsistency at times from a left to right standpoint. But watch this as I say that. He's probably, well, it's not bad. I'll take a 132 every time, but you did see the one that hit the 9, and the inconsistency being is you're not always going to move that hand to the side there at the same amount, at the same rate. in the same amount. So it's always
Right.
going to give you a little bit of consistency. The difference being you'll see with Nate's follow through, his hand always finishes straight ahead of him and not off to the side. So if he has any problems at all, it'll be up down motion as opposed to left and right.
Yeah, what I find a lot is, Jeff tends to throw with his fingers,
Yep.
so that you tend to push the dart a little bit, as opposed to somebody like Nate who, uses his fingers just to hold the dart and guide it as opposed to push it. Then that helps a lot when you're not trying to use your fingers to throw.
And Nate's looking at another trip 20 there, young fella. Ooh, not too bad. Now just set yourself up. Okay, looks like he might have been looking at the trip 8 there for the tops finish, but that's okay. All right, Jeff, looking to put some pressure on this here. See where he starts. He's going to start up at the top 20, 69 left, back down, double six. Nice. Look at that big 129. A nice little fist bump there from Jeff.
Big confident throw right there.
That's right. Well, one of us picked 9-6. So
I don't think you did give us a number. You just said Jeff.
I'm going to go Jeff 9-6.
Nice of you to get a
Well,
handicap there. The first two.
Yeah, I might change it now.
Okay, yeah.
But I was originally going 9-6.
Okay.
And now I'm 11-4.
You got that written down somewhere?
Well, it's like most other ideas in my mind. It's somewhere buried in there. All right. Well, Jeff continues his hot streak, opening up with a big 7 mark.
Yeah, Nate's going to really need this one back. One thing that he'll do sometimes is when he feels backed into a corner, he'll start to press a little bit. When he plays from in front and he plays loose, he's really strong. So see if he can bounce back.
Well, I've been slacking my duties here. Big shout out to Mr. Paul Rogers from the Bull Shooter, Ben Ferris. You know that guy, don't you, I believe? But Paul sending in all kinds of stars. Paul, thank you so much. Paul the Outlaw supports every stream that you see him out there. I thought so special that it was on our stream, but I come to find that when I watch other streams, he's there too. Big shout out to Caleb Hamilton sending us a couple 100 stars. We are blessed to have some great people around us, Folks, give us a like, give us a share. Let's get these players the views that they deserve. As Jeff just smoking along this game here. All right.
Yeah, speaking of Caleb Hamilton, I believe it's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Caleb. Bud Crystal sending in 200 stars. Thank you, Bud.
Sure, Caleb is out there having a lemonade somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. The trouble with buying Caleb a lemonade, he knows a lot about lemonade, so you have to buy him the best lemonade that's available.
That's right.
That was a trip 15, that first start, though he bounced out. So, Jeff.
Fighting to stay alive here.
Yeah. Continuing his domination. Going to be looking to close down to 15s. Does that with one dart. Double bull here, and it'd be 3-0 now. He's 2 bulls up. Well, Nate, unfortunately, needs a lot of darts to get back into this. Even if you're just shooting for the next match, it's important that you stay focused, you stay in line here. Jeff just needs 1 bull to finish this match off. There it is. First dart. Well done, son. All right. So, Jeff, up to a big 3-zip start. I'm so glad I picked 14-1 at the very start of this.
Yeah, I think my coin might have been lopsided.
Yeah. No, well, Nate did this when he played Adam in the playoffs last it would have been about 2 months ago now. And he's starting great, too. He takes off the hat. That could be the difference maker. But he did this. He got down to Adam McGuire. He got behind him, and it was a 4-1 or 5-1, but he came storming back.
That's right.
As soon as he settled a little bit. So let's see if he can't do the same thing here. But Jeff, let's all take this criticism with a grain of salt. It's not like I've accomplished a whole bunch in darts, but it's just his follow-through, how it's different than the others, where his wrist doesn't go straight forward. It goes out and, essentially a little bit off to the left. Or to the right, I guess. Depends which way you're looking. All right. Well, Nate's got a lead here, and it's his first lead in this match so far. Let's see if Jeff can make him a little bit uncomfortable.
First couple rounds there, Jeff hasn't hit something important, so He's definitely coming with a lot of focus, though. He's got the pretty intense look on his face today.
Well, he's going at it. You know, Nate's getting serious when he takes off the hat.
Yeah.
I need to go in there and adjust the lighting. I'm sorry if it's glaring on your stream, on your phone there, folks. So talk to us about the POL leagues.
Yeah,
Talk
Phoenix.
to me about Vegas. I'm going to Vegas this year. I'm playing darts in Vegas.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
I'm pretty excited about that.
We're excited to have you part of the group. It's we've got about 40 players from the Metro and Kokomo and Lafayette. All excited to get involved. Phoenix Official League is like I said, it's their corporate format, their corporate event. We play league in several different divisions based on your skill. Everybody across the country that played in those local leagues then is eligible to play in a tournament in Vegas for that. Basically, it's a league final, but it's on big boy scale of national, coast to coast.
Yeah,
and,
so you'll have Jules there. You'll have some of the big names.
Yeah, a lot of those guys play in what's also called Phoenix Cup, which is the secondary, I shouldn't say secondary, but the additional event to the weekend. So we have the POL League Finals.
Yep.
To start the weekend, and then to finish the weekend, they have Phoenix Cup, which is an additional group of events of doubles and trios and singles and all that. So it at that point starts to draw in some of the world players as well, and it's just a really great weekend. We'll be at the Tuscany this year.
And it looks like Jeff's picked up the pace, no pun intended, a little bit there.
Sure it was.
And yeah, shooting a little bit fast. Those last three darts. Just wanted to get this one over with. Let's see if Nate can answer his wishes.
He just needs to get a solid one right here.
Yeah, that's tough. But, in some ways, I like seeing emotion out of Nate because it can make him slow down and focus a little bit better at the line at times. I do think he starts out sometimes a little casual until he gets beaten up a little bit, and that's certainly what we saw last season with his match against Adam. So, yeah. Just, when I play Nate, if I want him to play better, I just kind of poke him a little bit. I just, I'll make the snide comment here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Get something
Not
out of him.
you.
Yeah. It's hard to believe. All right, double 16. Ooh, just a little bit low. And Jeff's going to have a shot at this. Does he go 10 tops? 18 for double 16, 10 for double 20. Let's see which way he's going to go. I like the fact that he's walking around, taking his time. He needs a big victory here today to secure his place in next season's league.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he went for the double bull. That's brave. Double 10. Just on the inside again. All right, Nate. Here's your opportunity.
Yep, he's got to take advantage of this here. He can't get too many of those second looks.
Let's put a leg on the board for your son. There it is. Big dart.
I know they're all in there. He's got the darts. He's just got to get him to land.
All right, so it's 3-1 pace. That was a hold or throw for Nate. We're going to go back to double in, 5-on-1. He's in on the first dart. Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect in.
Yeah, that's perfect. The best in you can get, almost. Well done. Let's see if Nate can answer that call. He's in on the first dart. That's 3 legs in a row. He's been in on that first dart, and he's a trip right here.
Oh.
Just landing on top. But when it's not your throw, when you're shooting second, you really need that big end, especially when your opponent maxed out on the first one and hits a ton 40 on the second.
Yeah, Jeff brought the high octane today.
Excuse me, folks. I'm sorry. I got a little too excited on that one. And you see Jeff carrying the 50 average there. That's not bad for double in, double out.
Yeah.
You can't complain. There you go. Another one of those. Keep yourself right in it.
Nice.
And he does that. Answers with his own ton 40. We got a leg going back and forth here. Jeff just out to ruin his average right here. Big last. Nice cover shot on that last one. Leaves him with a ton 4. Couple of different ways to do that. Hope he goes the 3-dart route, not the 2-dart route, but we'll see what happens. Nate just trying to put some pressure on him. All right, Jeff. Give me 4 18s and leave yourself with 32. You got this. Or give me a 20 and a 12. Or double 13.
Boy.
Yeah, I tell you, that's 3 shots at doubles in a row. Now he did make the double 5 where he's just gone on an inside hole of the double. And when you're shooting odd numbers like he's shooting, it can put yourself in a little bit of a pickle.
There you go.
Yeah, another low ton there for Nate. He's not going anywhere. Let's see. Is it 5 double 4? It is 5 double 4. It's on the outside. There it is.
Stick. Jeff hasn't had too many darts go wrong today so far. He's certainly come out with a mission here.
And I'm truly, I'm trying to come up with a different word, although I can't think of anything. Does his pace seem a little bit faster to you when he's doing well there? It seems like his pace is a little bit faster than what he was shooting before.
Well, I think, and I've played enough league with Jeff, he's always been a little bit of a fast thrower to begin with.
Okay.
I think it looks pretty standard to me right now. I think I just see the focus in his face a little bit. He's determined today to have a good showing and get those numbers up in that standings.
And in the showing that he's putting out and putting on today, it's something that I've argued with Jeff about for a long time. He's a very, very good player, but he could be so much better because
his ceiling is there for sure.
Yeah.
It's you're right. It's whether it's distractions or other things or just lack of focus. His consistency definitely goes up and down, but he's certainly skilled. Nice white horse there from Nate. Come on, boy.
Come on now. Nothing wrong with a white horse. Trying to get his second leg on the board. All right. Come on, Nate. How you going to follow that white horse? There you go. Stay over there. No, nice. Look at that.
Nate certainly found his rhythm here.
Yeah. Well, Nate shooting a 6-0.
Those are Premier League numbers we like to see.
Yep. Should be up a bull shooter with those kind of numbers. We are seeing that in the Premier League. I've noticed that there's a couple players touching and going above a 5-0 in the Premier League. And some of these averages are fantastic to see.
Well, it's such a unique format where you're playing the best of the best every week.
Yep.
As opposed to in your other leagues where you're going to be throwing well and throwing strong, you're not pushed every single game, every leg. So I think
full bulls for Jeff there. Big dart. A little disappointed that he wasn't able to do it. Nate's just looking for
running up the score a little bit.
Yeah. Just blocking himself out. Well, it gets old saying it, but it is iron sharpens iron, right? And these guys now have a weekly opportunity to play against the best. And it's going to help the Lee Jones, the McFeelys of the world, but it's also going to help the Jolyn Harrises, the Ben Fairs, when they get to play so many leagues against these real high top-notch players. Not only can you learn stuff, but every match becomes more important to you then.
Yep.
There you go, Nate Brosius.
Good game.
Solid 4-8 on that one. Nothing wrong with that.
Still early here in the match. Easily get on a run.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he has a habit of doing that here at the castle. Comeback kid. Jeff's in on that first start again.
Yep.
Just regardless of the following 2 darts after it, just to be able to get that monkey off your back on that first start has got to be a huge relief. I think Nate might have changed out a tip there right quick. And once again, he's in on the first start again.
Pretty solid over there.
Yep.
I'm really excited for this match today. I'm glad to see these two guys both in the Premier League. I've known Nate for a long time. I think when he and I first became friends, shortly after I moved here, he started playing darts for the first time with me. And well, I take that back. He played with his dad quite a bit, if I remember right. He learned darts from his dad, but playing in earnest out in league play at the bar, we hung out quite a bit, got to know each other well, and I love to see how his game has grown over the years, how much he's dedicated to it and continues to have the passion for it. Jeff, he's just one of those guys that's been playing for a long time, and a really good dude. He's helped us out a lot, filling in for players that are unable to finish or just being available to sub or excited about new formats and tournaments. He's got a positive attitude. The only thing I have to say negative about Jeff, he's a Texas fan.
Yeah, well,
that's the biggest drawback that he has. I just can't. Sometimes I just can't look at him straight. But other than that, I really appreciate both of these guys, and I love to see them here fighting it out.
Well, yeah, and I don't know these guys near as well as what you do, and what Ben does, but both these guys are nothing but respectful when they're here at the castle, and when I see them out and about, they lots of questions, but always a friendly handshake and a good to see you. So yeah, I enjoy seeing them both. I really do. Jeff may look a little bit gruff at times on the outside, and if you saw her in the flyer, then he certainly got that bodyguard in the suit and sunglasses type look. But just go say hi to him, and he'll talk your ear off. He's a great dude. And I will tell you that if you talk to Nate whilst he's playing, it's much better for you because you cannot throw darts and talk at the same time. All right, Jeff looking at a 60 here. I like the way he just takes his time, plans out, look, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to hit the single, and then I'm going to go inside on a double 10 probably.
Yeah.
And see what he does here. Looking at the double 10. Yep, on the inside on the double 10. That's a little bit of the commentator's curse. I told him what to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nate does not have an out, but he does have the opportunity to put some pressure on it. That's a good start. That's not a great second dart. Yeah, well, 128 is possible. I think he hit a 129 earlier on. Now, Jeff, looking at this double 5, you do not want to go low on this one. You do not want to do that. There you go. All right, Nate. This is why putting pressure on that double 5 was so important, and he's going to be disappointed that all he was able to do was get to a 128. A better score, another trip there would have got you down in the 60s. And
do you have a preference, top of the board or bottom of the board? Do you like the leaving himself a 4 or bust on that last one to stay with the double 5?
I like to leave myself a 4 just because I favor a double 2 at times. That's I favor a double 2 much more than I'd ever favor a double 1. Let's put it that way. And just as I say it, Jeff does it, and that's why.
Opens the
folks.
door for Nate.
Yeah. And Nate's still kind of struggling. 70 is not a terribly hard out, but quite frankly, only scoring 58 points the last time through. He's got to put some pressure on him. Now, there's many trains of thought of how to attack a 70 here. Trip 10 is out the obvious one. I like a trip 18 just because if you hit a single 18, you got 52 and you leave you a couple more options. But lots of ways to go here.
Speaking of double 5 here, you're really close together. You can hit that 60, double 5 right next to it.
Yeah.
Staying up in the same area.
That's his favorite number.
He does
right?
like that, you know. You got a friendly bounce there.
I don't know. If we had instant replay, I'd hate to see where that one actually hit.
Looked like it moved the target. Enough to trigger it.
Let me ask you this on a general notice. The technology in soft tip darts, I think we all can agree that it's getting better and it's getting better, but not necessarily on the actual dartboard side. The software of all the programs is getting better. Is there a lot of hardware improvements coming from a dart that's not a showy type thing, and not something where it's for show?
From an engineering standpoint, if that's what you're asking, the guts of the matrix behind the target have been tried and true long enough. You've got to design something that's sensitive enough to know the difference from one wedge to the other, based on the pads that are on the matrix, but not so sensitive that it wears out or it fails too easily. You've got to have them a bit industrial, so there's a lot of that's built in. That you have to make trade-offs. It really is come down to me and my experience with working with several different brands of boards. They all have very, very similar hardware.
Nice darts there from Nate. Nice ton 40.
The matrix behind them is almost identical for all three boards. The biggest difference is the software and how they treat the way that a dart impacts the board. The arachnids, I would say, are pretty forgiving. Most of the time, darts like Nate's we just saw that bounced off, you're going to get credit for it. Some of the other boards that are a little more international, kind of, I think, by intention, follow the steel tip game a little bit more as an international game. So you really need the dart to stick in order for it to count.
Okay.
The Phoenix boards, the Darts Live boards, oftentimes you'll have darts on the ground and you swear you should get credit for it, but if it's on the ground, you can't count it, same as you would in a steel.
Yep.
So I can appreciate that from those manufacturers. To each their own on preference. I mean, if you're strictly from the soft tip world, a lot of times you expect to get something for hitting the board. But, I kind of a little more traditionalist that, I feel like if I want credit, the dart needs to stay there and stick. So I like those. But really that comes down to software and how it reads the impact and the time that it presses the sensor.
And look at this from Nate, taking his time. He's gone up to the ucky a couple different times. He's really taking his time. He knows this throw is crucial. He's brought it back to 4-3. And neither one of these guys are on and out. Regardless, Nate's going to be the first 2 and out. And he's not going to be happy with that. Just 36 scored there. Not a terrific number.
Missed opportunity for sure.
What do you feel personally on it, though, Dustin, as far as how it comes down? What you're talking about with the European boards being a little bit less forgiving, that's new to me, too. But is there look at this from Jeff. He's going to need to switch here. Trip 17 is the dart. Only thing that does is leave him on a... If he hits a single and leaves him on a... Oh, no, he went the other way. He wants that double 5.
Yeah, he does.
He wants that double 5.
Up there.
Well, Trip 17 would have left him 16 for a double 8, but let's see what he does. Nate's got a shot at this 161. Still got a shot at this 161. Trip 18. Oh, he didn't go that. I don't know exactly what he was doing there. Trip 20 is the next dart, though. Leaves him at 24. Trip 20. Don't overthink it. And don't throw the trip 18. That's okay. But where do you fall down on this? How would you feel that people would react if they had the European-style boards over here in the States? There you go, second dart. Jeff Pace brings that lead back up to a 2-game lead, 6-4.
Yeah, we're still right. 5-3.
5-3.
Yeah. When you say European board, what do you mean by that?
Well, the ones that are less forgiving.
So from an international standpoint, I mean, Phoenix and Darts Live are the ones that I'm familiar with. I haven't really used the Radicals or some of the others, but those two are Asian boards that are distributed all over the world. I personally like them. I find that the gameplay on them is it's a nice start.
Look at that.
Great start.
Not a 9 mark. Not a white horse.
Just as a player, maybe it's because I have a technical background that I just tend to like some of the features that those boards have.
Sure.
It's not just the board itself, but it's also in the apps and the technology that they have. Gives the player a lot of information to work with.
And you saw it right here. Look at we've had. Well, we've now had 9 triples in a row, and one of those has been a triple 1, but that's okay. Apparently no other part of the board is working right now except for the triple wedge. And Jeff proves me wrong again as we witness back-to-back 9 marks, followed by a 6 mark, followed by a 4 mark.
Well, I think they both sense this is a critical game right here. Nate's got to have it to stay in touch, and Jeff could start to separate here with this one. So this is an important game.
Uh-oh. We haven't seen one of those yet today. An open round and a cricket leg. Well, Jeff's going to close 20s and build that point lead. There's the point lead, and he's just going to stay there and try and build that point like you're supposed to. I think that first start at the 1 just kind of threw him off. They go back to points here, and he does.
Yep.
He got to build that lead up a little bit, build that cushion. But it's still only 34 points, so 2 18s will get Jeff the lead back, the point lead. Oh, and he answers with 4 of his own. That's a 38-point lead over Nate right now. He's going to need at least 2 20s. The ideal shot right here will be a trip 20 and then close the 18s. He's going to need more points than that. He's going to have to stay to 20s now. Oh, and he picks up the trip on the last dart. Big dart there from Nate. Jeff finds himself 42 points down. He's going to need at least 3 18s. Oh, and he just jumps right over and closes that with a double. Thought there was no doubles in cricket. Jeff didn't hear that rule. Uh-oh.
That's a big round from Nate there.
Yeah. Would like to hit that trip 17, but takes that point lead back. Well, wedges are even, but Jeff, first dart, trip 17.
You see, interesting where Nate goes here. A lot of people sometimes try to keep it close like that, move forward. Others want to play with a gap. So, taking that move forward approach, that's a perfect round. Perfect round.
The second 9 mark of this leg, the third one we've seen in this leg. What a cricket match. Not bad at all.
Good answer.
Great answer from Jeff. 6 mark of his own on the 15s. Still finds himself 10 points behind. Nate's just got to close the 15s. Does he take another dart at it? Yes, he did, and he missed that one too. Probably point here. Yep. Smart move. So a 26-point lead for Nate here, which means Jeff's going to have to hit at least 2 15s to get that point lead back. When he hit 3 right off the gate, is he going to go over double 16? Oh, he went for it. He went for it, just went a hole or 2 inside. But Jeff does have the point lead now. Uh-oh. Well, he did manage to hit the second dart and the second 3, so.
Triples have escaped him now here, a couple rounds.
Now, here's the advantage. Jeff only needs 115, and he hits 3. Doesn't matter anyways. Closes 16s. Straight back to points. Look at that. Jeff shooting a 4-6 here. And Nate's the one that's had, 2 9 marks. 2 rounds of 9 marks. So, what a match we've got going back and forth.
Yeah. Nate's got to be careful not to let the frustration get to him. He's pressing a little bit.
Jeff just needs 3 bulls here. See what he can do. First one's a single. He's going to point? No, he's going to stay there at the bulls. Oh, and he just picks up 2 singles. And he's disappointed in that. Most other people hit 2 bulls out of 3. Jumping for joy. That's the level that these guys are playing at today. And it's just like you said, Nate's got to avoid any kind of frustration. Even if he loses this leg, he's still 2 legs away from losing this week. And not a bad little 3 mark. Just kind of remind Jeff that he's there. Jeff only needs 1 bullseye, though. What do you think, first or second dart?
Jeff will hit this on the first one.
All right. Let's see what he does. Jeff Page steps up to the hockey. And misses the first one.
Dang, you're just here to show me how wrong I am all day.
Yeah, well, I'm just here to help. We want you to come back, I promise. You know what's interesting about that? At some point in time, Nate had like a 5.7 average there because he had hit back-to-back or 2 9 marks.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed he let that one get away.
And he ended up with a 3.6. That's a little tough. So, Jeff is up 6-3.
Now, with each passing game, it gets a little bit more important for Nate here. He's got to stay in touch, or this is it's going to be the match he didn't want.
Well, as they say often, it's one leg at a time. You threw first this leg, so let's count on this leg being yours. And you're going to need better darts than that.
Tough break.
And Nate's Nate's not one to usually switch down to a trip 19 at all or different parts of the board. He's pretty committed to staying to that trip 20.
Yeah, he usually only looks if he's got it covered up.
Yep. Great darts there from Jeff Pace. Solid ton 23.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent today.
Well, you'll see the Mac and the Adams in the world, and they'll shoot about a 31 to 33 in double in, double out on one averages. And Jeff has just proven why he's part of this group, quite frankly, and he's just backing up everything that we've talked about and said about him today. He's been shooting consistently in the 30s, and he's just going to improve that right here with a 36 average, a big ton 40 right there. Now, this is where Nate, this is his last chance this leg just to stay with him. Got to hit that trip. Got to hit that trip just once. But that's, and that's a consistent issue you see with Nate. It's not that his darts are ever left and right. They're always a high and low. And Jeff, nice switch there. Unfortunate, unlucky on that last dart. He was looking for that trip 20 to leave himself 40.
Yeah, I think Nate may come back and look at this and say he's had a lot of opportunities today. He just didn't step through the door.
Yep. Well, and that happens to most of us all the time. So, double finish for Jeff Pace.
Yeah, Jeff's certainly not giving Nate very many extra chances.
Yeah, that's a fist bumper on that one. I love a double. 7-3. Who had 7-3 in the pool?
Ben. Probably Ben.
Yeah, well, he said he would have. Anyways. All right, just 5 legs left, folks. Jeff Pace in on the first start. A commanding 7-3 lead.
I'd like to see Nate pick up the body language here a little bit. He's starting to get a little slouchy there in the back, and I know he's very determined. He's just got to.
It's that second dart because he's always in on the first one.
Yeah, he's got to fight through this a little bit here, and he's just got to finish strong.
If I went into the arena right now and called a timeout, and you got a minute with Nate out on deck to tell him how to play the remainder of the games, save the match, what would you tell him?
Man, that's tough. I mean, he's throwing so well at moments, but then just not finishing strong. And I don't know if that's a lack of concentration that he's doing there, or whether he's getting in a rush when he gets those leads and he gets just a little excited.
Yep.
I would probably say you gotta walk with positivity and throw with intention here. I mean, just don't throw and hope to hit, but throw and expect to hit, and they'll follow.
Well, even though that was a terrible round for him, I will tell you, I liked his pace a lot better.
Yeah, I did too, exactly.
Which is unfortunate because he had his worst score of the day probably. But and sometimes you just got to say Jeff Pace is just throwing another 1080. That's his third of the day. He's just unbeatable today. You know.
Yep, today's his day, it seems.
And you look at some of the best in our state, and you think. I personally think to myself, and I think this often when watching Jeff play, he should be up there with them. He should be a top 8, top 6 player.
I think Jeff gets caught in the thing that we ask people to do more often.
Look at that from Jeff Pace. Great darts. Jeff Pace out of Indianapolis, Indiana, folks. Papa is his nickname. Fantastic
we like to see dart players approach league and having fun and enjoying the moment and being part of life and not being too serious. And Jeff definitely does that. But he's good enough, like we talked earlier, has that ceiling that when he is in the moment and he is focused and not distracted and does put it on the line, he's certainly capable to finish strong like we're seeing now.
First dart, 9, solid, and that's not his strong side of the board either.
Yeah, Jeff's played with us in Vegas with the Super League last year and played again this year on a different team, but also played. And so I've seen him in tournaments just rise to the occasion, and I think that's one of his definite strengths.
Well, and Nate's a little bit down on himself right here, but let's
Yeah.
not write out Nate. He's worked hard to get to this Premier League.
No doubt.
And he's I've seen him at times struggle over the last probably 5-6 years. But he's always remained calm. He's always been just a great person. Never seen him in a bad mood, quite frankly.
He's one of the best sportsmen that we have, for sure.
Yeah, he's just a pleasure to be around. How he's not won a Player of the Year for Phoenix, I don't know. I don't know how that's happened. Obviously, it must be rigged.
Rigged, yes.
Can you
Yes,
say a
for
little
sure.
bit about your last two Players of the Year? Caleb Hamilton, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, Caleb.
Yeah.
But can you talk a little bit about his character?
Well, I would say very similar to Nate. Caleb's just a really positive personality, very enthusiastic. He's still fairly new to darts. He's been playing for a few years, but he picked it up very quickly. I had the fortune of being a partner with him in one of our leagues last year, I believe. Just somebody who is pushing the envelope and playing as much as he can. He's fortunate with the kind of work schedule that he has with some free time that he really dedicates a lot of time into playing and he's trying to get better. He wants to see how far he can go. So he's active in a lot of things and just about anything you throw out there, he wants a piece of it. And he plays all over the city and does it with a smile on his face every single time.
Yep.
And that's, one of the reasons we picked him as Player of the Year this last year was, one, just the consummate great attitude and willingness to help and be a part of things, but also his dedication to play a lot and get better.
Yeah, he's great dude. You ever want to talk about darts? He's happy to do that with you, or whiskey. Quite frankly, he's happy to do that with you too.
But bourbon, isn't he? He's a bourbon guy.
Yeah, he's a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen some of his pictures on Facebook? He's standing on top of mountains.
Yeah, well, the guy's, like I said, he's fortunate with his work schedule that he's able to travel, and he's just one of those people that wants to maximize every minute out of life, and he travels a lot. He came with us when we did our trip to Hawaii in February, and he went out like a week early with a couple other guys and just went to a couple of the other islands and just to maximize the whole trip. And there's not a day that goes by that Caleb's not turning over every rock, so to speak.
He's doing great. He posted a picture of him holding his hands up, celebrating the fact that he climbed to the top of this peak. And I couldn't help but look at it and think, well, the person taking the picture is actually higher than you are, and they must have worked harder.
Right.
Big darts there from Nate, who seems to, his shoulders have dropped down a little bit. Son, you've got nothing to be ashamed of. You're a fantastic darter and a great dude. You'll be coming right back. Don't worry about it. And the way things are going, you'll be back in the castle shooting before you know it.
With every bad day, there's a good day behind it.
Yes, there is indeed. There you go. There's that smile we've been looking for. But Nate's had some moments. He shot a white horse. He's had a ton 80 so far today. I think these later legs here are starting to get him down a little bit. He was expecting something a little bit different than being down 8-3.
Yeah, I think if he would have gotten the reward of the wins on those games, he was shooting real well. Instead of letting him slip away, I think you'd see a little bit different approach. Right now, I think he's just kind of feeling beat up after kind of mad at himself more than anything. He just let those slip away, but that doesn't take anything away from Jeff, and he hasn't missed hardly anything today.
Well, and I can guarantee you those conversations between them is just Jeff giving them all kinds of reinforcement and laughing at them a little bit at the same time. But, something I noticed in this particular match, we haven't had very many close games. I think we've had a couple earlier on, but beyond that, they've been blowouts either for Nate or blowouts for Jeff.
Yeah.
So, well, what you and I would consider a blowout, let's put it that way. But there it is. Jeff takes another one.
At this level, anything under 150 is not a blowout. It's a close game.
Yep. All right, so we're going to move to game 13. Just 3 left. Still time to like and share the feed, folks. Get it out there. That's my fault. Jeff in once again on the first start. He's been in on the first start a lot more than he's missed on that first start. All right? And frankly, you could probably say the same thing for Nate right here, too. And watch me jinx him as I say that.
Of course.
Yep. It's an interesting move. Went up to the 20s there.
Yep.
I hate doing that and being successful at it because next time I'm shooting at the double 14, I think, well, I hit it last time. I hit
Right.
the double 20. I could do it again. Look at that. Just a solid ton at a time. Moving along. Maintaining that 33 type average when you hit a ton at a time. Are you an average or stats type player where you're really interested at the end of every game whether you want to see your stats or not?
Not at the end of every game. I like to see. I mean, I've been playing long enough now. I got a feel for how
Sure.
it was, and to the nth degree, I don't need to know every single thing. But I will look at the end of a match.
Okay. Yeah.
More recently, these last couple of years, with some shoulder problems, my stats have not been something I want to look at so very often. But yeah, more of a big picture approach. I think that I am.
That's a real nice leg there a real nice throw there from Nate, hitting that low ton, single trip. But these are the darts, this 35, 36 average that Nate's shooting. This is what Nate's absolutely capable of doing.
100%.
We've
Let's finish this one.
We spoke very, very kindly about Jeff today and how well he's throwing, but, don't ever look past Nate right here. 18. Yeah, good dart.
There we go.
Leaves himself tops for the out. But Nate can throw some great darts, shooting at 38 average right now. I do say in my years of throwing darts, in my a little bit less years of throwing, Nate for the top first dart, double 20.
Nice clean game from Nate there. Very well done.
That's what he can do. Right?
Absolutely.
That's the leg he's got to remember, and the other ones he's got to forget. But it almost seems like these guys, admit it's not after every leg. It's really after every match. But it's so important to them to go look at the numbers and see and judge. They judge that night of how they did at darts as according to what their stats are. When my own personal belief, that's not sometimes an accurate reflection of how well you've shot.
Yeah, especially depending on format. I mean,
Yep.
Format, partner, and opponent, there's so many factors that go into what your average is that sometimes you can get a little too hung up on the specifics of it. And that's why I try to say when I look at it, I try to just have a bigger, broader approach.
Shout out to Ron Thompson sending 200 stars. Big shout out to Mr. Ronnie Smith sending 530 stars.
What's going on, Hot Rod?
David Madras, 500 stars. Thank you, sir. Brian Drew, 50 stars. Thank you, brother. Hope you feeling better. Carlos sending 500 stars. One of our sponsors on the Siege. And I think we mentioned, but can't mention enough. Big shout out and a thank you to Bud Crystal. Sending 200 stars. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, while we're early in this game, let me premiere something. How about the Siege flyer for what's coming up on Tuesday? This one's a little unique. This one I will tell you, I don't mind telling you, this one took me about 6 months to plan and get it all logistically working. But this is going to be fun. If you're not doing anything Tuesday night, tune in and watch the Siege with us. It's called California Dreamin'. Tim Neal is going to have a surprise partner that he doesn't know about.
I was just about to ask, does he know?
No, and there's going to be a special guest that only me and the special guest and the surprise partner know about too. So Tim and Sean, neither one of those guys know about who the people are filling in, but look who they're playing. Guy Perry and Josh Reardon. So those are two very high-quality players. Tim's a high-quality player. So, do a little bit of algebra there. You can bet that surprise player is going to be a pretty darn good player to make this an even matchup. Wouldn't you agree?
No rookie?
No rookie there. And, folks, if you followed the stream, you have never met this person. But if you follow the stream, you will know about this person. I'm looking forward to finally getting him or her on the show. So tune in Tuesday at 8 o'clock, The Siege, right where you're watching us today. And while we've been talking about that, Nate's been running away a little bit here.
Yeah, just still got a shot here, though.
Needs a Shanghai in the 20s. There's a simple one. Not going to be able to do it this time. Oh, leaves himself double 10. Okay, Nate. Double 14 tops is one way to go. Not the right way, but something you could do.
I likes that 14.
Yeah. All right. Which way do you go here? 32 or 20? Oh, he's going down to 36. 18. Double 18. Oh. Just on the outside. Well, let's go to the right place here. Jeff, looking at the 10. He's been on the inside, and he goes on the inside again. And the inside of that one, he's put himself in a pickle there. He probably busted. He did.
All right, Nate's got to have this one here. He can't have another missed opportunity.
Yeah, folks, I'm sorry if I'm giving you a seizure flipping around all these cameras right quick here. Double 9. He's hit this before. And he's just, his shoulders are perked up. His back straightened up. You can see he's back into the game now. Oh, just on that top.
Credit for the bounce.
Oh, that's a couple of those he's had today.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier a little bit.
Yeah, trying to bring in those international boards.
See, this is where I, as an operator, I get caught in the middle, obviously, right?
Yep,
I want to see people that are happy. I want to see people feel like the proper credit is where it belongs. And I really find it's about a split down the middle. You get half the players out there that are, I could have swore I hit that. Why didn't they give it to me?
Sure.
If it's laying on the floor, and then you get the other ones that get the credit, but then the opponent doesn't want them to. And so you can't make everybody happy all the time, right? So it's a fine line. But all I can say is that we're the only ones that offer 3 different brands, and so if you don't like this one, try a different one.
That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. That's very fair. So is that why on the Phoenix boards you have on each wedge they go down? There's a grade down.
That's just a manufacturer thing. That's
Okay.
It's like a convex shape to it, where the holes closest to the wire are set back a little bit. I haven't talked to anybody from them from a technical standpoint on why they do that. But it definitely looks a little different when you haven't played on them.
It's got a little bit of a shadow to it, but I wonder if it helps in some ways by reducing the amount of, I just hit on just the outside of the 14, but it counted it as a double. But if they're shaved off a little bit, maybe there's less surface area to.
Well, I'd like to see maybe something with a high-speed camera, if they've done any studies on whether or not when you bounce off the wire, if it will catch a hole if it's recessed a little bit versus if it's flush, like on these.
Yep.
Where you hit that wire and it just bounces off to the side. I don't know the reasoning for it,
sure.
but I would sure like to know. I mean, that's something I hadn't really thought about. I just know that all the manufacturers have their own twist and their own little idiosyncrasies.
Look at that from Jeff. Another solid. These guys have had some fantastic cricket legs tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe not competitively with each other, but just the actual stats for what they've shot on their own particular cricket leg.
Ironically, they've always had one's having a good game, the other one's a little bit off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can see Nate was just disappointed, and he wasn't disappointed so much that he missed as much as the fact that he blocked himself off. One dart managed to block off the whole 15. Much like that second dart did there for Jeff. When you miss that trip 15, you hit just above in that single 10 segment. It covers. It's a very tough shot to get to that trip 15 again. All right. Well, Jeff still has a 48-point lead, so he may be inclined just to go to the 15s and just close that door, but he's not. He's going to go over the bulls. And he went for the 15. He got the double 15, and that's another one of those cases. A little bit of a bounce out. It counted.
It goes around, comes around.
Yeah, that's right. It all works out in the long run. If not from night to night, from week to week, it will. All right. Nate really needs to. Well, essentially, he needs 6 bulls. And 3 is great for most players, but he's not going to help him right here. So Jeff's just looking at one single bull. And there it is. The winner of the match, Mr. Jeff Pace. Congratulations, sir. Oh, look at that. Love that part. Love that part.
They're good buddies. They see each other a lot. I'm sure it was.
It was good. No, Dustin, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
A pleasure. It's always fun seeing you, and
Thanks
it's fun
again.
to do this little thing with you.
Thanks again.
And thank you for everything you do for darts in general around the Indiana destination. You've got. We need to mention a new place you've got up in Lafayette, TikTok Lounge.
TikTok Tavern.
TikTok Tavern.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, I went there yesterday for lunch.
Oh, yeah. Good.
The coleslaw burger is the thing to get.
I tell you what, they got a lot of great food up in there.
Yeah, they do. They have fantastic food, folks. They have breakfast served all day long. And if you're inclined to play darts up there, they got 6 boards right in a row. It's really well lit and plenty of tables. I will tell you, it's a nice little bar. It really is. TikTok Tavern up in Lafayette, Indiana. It's the new Phoenix location. Let me give you just a quick reminder for what's going on Tuesday. It's a very special show for us here at To The Point Streaming. Tim does not know who his surprise player is, but they are coming by hook or by crook or by airplane or with a passport. We'll see. And the guest host and the surprise player do not know each other. Although they actually do know of each other. It's a very interesting scenario. It's going to be a fun night with a lot of surprises, and quite frankly, logistically, if it all works out, I'll be somewhat amazed. But thank you to Dustin, thank you to Ben, thank you to the players. Thanks for watching today, guys. Have a great holiday weekend.
Shout out to all the families and everybody back home.
Yep, God bless. Congratulations, Ron and Robin. We'll see you all later. Take care.